I'm Eric Stark. I'm joined this week talking LL football with Kevin Freeman. Kevin, thanks for joining me.
Sure, Eric.
Week 9 of the season is getting to be crunch time, and when I start thinking the bigger picture, district picture,
right.
How are the districts shaping up? Give me a little bit of a rundown why this is an important time of year for a lot of teams.
Okay. Well, football is an odd thing because most other sports, teams gear for the Lancaster Lebanon League playoffs, but of course there are none of those in football. So you've looked at districts, and you need a power rating to get into districts. Mm-hmm. And every class, the 4 classes, have different amounts of teams they're going to take. Now, Quad A, as we know, 16, and AAA 16. And with 2 games to go, there are teams that are on the bubble in their power rating to try to get into the tournament. So in Quad A, we have Manheim Township, who's 15th right now.
On the bubble.
Right there. And they have to play McCaskey this week, which hasn't won. But they have Hempfield the last week. And I'm thinking maybe that last game against Hempfield might be the determining factor whether they get in or not.
Okay.
In AAA, they have Lancaster Catholic there. Now, Lancaster Catholic's interesting because they're in AAA, but they play a lot of Quad A teams, which means they accrue more points. Mm-hmm. So they have a record of 3 and 5, but they're 15th. So they need some wins probably, but just the fact that they're playing Quad A teams helps them.
Right.
They have Cedar Crest this week, the Quad A team, and then McCaskey the final week. So their chances are pretty good, but they probably have to play better than they played last week against Hempfield.
And I don't want to pick on McCaskey. We mentioned him twice now. They don't have a win on the year, and their offense has been struggling this year. Mm-hmm. So that could help a team that's looking to increase their bubble chances here. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Even in AA, Pequea Valley is 9th. Now, Pequea Valley, the AA field takes 8 teams.
Okay.
So 9th doesn't sound too bad. Now, they have to play Hamburg this week. Hamburg's 4 and 4. They have a shot at winning that game, I would think. But they have to finish with Garden spots. That'll be a tough one for them to try to get in there. And Columbia in Single A, they're 6th right now. They only take 4 in Single A, 4 teams for that tournament. But they have Garden spot this week, and that's a tough draw for them.
Yeah. I want to talk to you about the biggest game I see on the schedule this week, and that's 2 teams that probably aren't worried about not making the playoffs. It's Penn Manor and Wilson. They're both going to make it, but this has section 1 is on the line here.
Sure.
Tell me a little bit about this matchup.
Well, Wilson's undefeated in Section 1. Penn Manor has 1 loss, so they could tie for the section championship. And it's a great matchup because you have 2 pretty good, solid teams. You have the Wilson's defense, which is number 1 in Section 1, and you have Penn Manor's offense, which is number 1 in Section 1. So they're going to go at it. It's going to be a great battle. See Charlie Bell, Penn Manor's running back, going against the defensive front of Wilson and their linebackers, which are very, very good. But the thing about that is, Wilson's coming off a game against Township, where Township hung in for a long time. And Wilson had 4 turnovers, I'm sure it concerns Coach Doms. And the touchdowns that Wilson got were both generated by Township turnovers in their own territory. So there's a lot of things going on, some subplots there, and it should be interesting what happens in that game.
Offense versus defense, and who doesn't turn the ball over, right?
Right. That's pretty much it. And I think it's going to be a great game.
Got an interesting matchup in Section 2. Cocalico playing Elizabethtown. You would think Cocalico is heavily favored here. There's one little intangible that I just was learning. Can I bring this one up to you?
Certainly, yes.
Quarterback of Cocalico, Jet Janis, is going out to a recruiting trip in Oregon this weekend. He's going for track, but he's going out to see UCLA play Oregon and will not be at the game against E-Town. I don't know if that means the Bears have a better chance to win or not, but I certainly think it helps their chance not to have the starting quarterback of Cocalico there.
It does. And it would be interesting if we could finally decide what kind of team Elizabethtown has, because they've baffled us for weeks.
Yeah.
They come out and play great. They beat Donegal, and then they don't do so well in Section 2, but then you just never know what kind of team is going to show up. They have some very, very good players, and much better than they were last year. And the matchup with Cocalico could go, I'm not saying Elizabethtown I think they're going to win, but I think Cocalico has enough even without Janis to win the game. But they'll give them some frights, that's for sure.
Certainly more competitive without Janis there.
I would think so, yeah.